Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regular meeting of Fernie City Council held on August 26, 2025. Kisukukit, we acknowledge the city of Fernie is located within Kukinamakis, the unceded territory of Yakutat Nucleate First Nation. We recognize that we live and work within their vast lands. Akanahunik are from Yakutat Nucleate and are members of the Tanaha-speaking peoples of British Columbia, Idaho, and Montana. I'll call the meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. and ask for a mover and a seconder for the following staff recommendation. We do have a late item to the agenda, that the agenda for the August 26, 2025 regular meeting be amended to include late item 11.3 UBCM nominations for RCMP Contract Management Committee, and that the agenda be adopted as amended. Moved by Councillor Audie Kelly, seconded by Councillor McIsaac. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. I'll ask for a mover and a seconder for the following staff recommendation, that the minutes of the July 15th, 2025 special meeting of council be adopted. Moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Audie Kelly. Any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. And a mover and a seconder for the following staff recommendation, that the minutes of the August 12th, 2025 regular meeting of council be adopted. Moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Audie Kelly. Any discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Before I open the floor to public participation, I just wanted to let people know, if you want to speak this evening, we don't have our time clock anymore. It started to malfunction, so we're looking for a replacement. Our corporate officer will keep time, and she has a couple of placards that she will give notification of 30 seconds left and time is up. So if everyone's aware. So I'll invite the public in attendance or participating electronically who wish to comment on items listed on the meeting agenda in accordance with section 3.7.3 of the procedure bylaw to address council, except speakers must not address council regarding a matter for which a public hearing must be held or has been held pursuant to the Local Government Act prior to council's consideration of the matter or adoption of the bylaw. Speakers must not address council regarding a permit for which public notice must be given or has been given pursuant to the Local Government Act prior to council's consideration of issuance of the permit. And a speaker may only address council for a maximum of 3 minutes. And speakers are asked to state their full name and community of residence when they come to the podium.
Our first speaker is Marcel Pauline.
My name is Marcel Poulain and I live here in Fernie. Can I get started?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good evening. I'm a board member and a parent to 2 children who attend Wild Wapiti Play School. Consistent with our request on June 10th, we're asking that the outdoor play space include the large tree and be closer to the northeast entrance, a larger space than what we understand will be recommended by staff tonight. Why is this so important? Because shade and proximity really do matter. In the summer, the difference between children playing under that tree and children exposed to direct sun is a difference between safe, joyful play and potential heat risk. The updated childcare design guidelines actually require shaded play during hot months, and without the tree, we would have to consider artificial shade, which could lead to more cost and a less natural look. Proximity matters too. Our staff assist toddlers and infants downstairs and across a road just to reach this outdoor area. A shorter, more direct access point is safer, easier for snow clearing, and faster in an emergency. These aren't abstract details. They're the lived daily reality for our staff and young children. We deeply appreciate the city's ongoing support for childcare in our community. From land donations for new centers to providing access to city-owned facilities and outdoor spaces for long-standing programs, and now this outdoor space with us. These examples show that the city recognizes the critical importance of childcare and the many ways it can be supported. At the same time, each center operates under very different circumstances with unique challenges and approaches to serving children and families. Treating every center exactly the same without considering those differences can unintentionally overlook what makes each program successful. As we often say in teaching, fair isn't always equal. We hope that Council will consider the distinct realities of Wild Wapiti Play School when making decisions about our outdoor space. We believe this multi-age off-site play area could be one of our greatest strengths. Infants and toddlers side by side, learning from each other, exploring together. A larger play area lets that strength flourish. It gives room for different kinds of play to unfold at once, while still nurturing the calm, nature-based environment that is at the heart of our play school. I know you want city spaces to be well used and well loved. As one of you even said when we first presented this idea, you can't imagine a better use than children playing. Please allow us the space that we are requesting that includes that tree and closer access point. It will make a world of difference for our children, for our staff, and for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pauline.
Our next speaker is Brooklyn Hanson.
My name is Brooklyn Hanson, and I reside in Hosmer. Thank you for this time this evening. I'm a current board member at Wild Wapiti Play School, and I have 2 children that attend there. I believe a larger space is essential to supporting our philosophy of promoting nature-based learning and fostering a sense of community. Our outdoor area is a multi-aged used area with up to 30 children using the area at one time, where a larger space can help accommodate the developmental needs of all learners in an outdoor setting. According to BC Safe Play Design, play environments should not only be safe and inclusive, but also spacious enough to support a variety of physical, cognitive, and social experiences. Children thrive when they have room to move, explore, and imagine. Larger spaces allow for running, climbing, jumping, and other gross motor activities important to the development of the whole child. Imagine a child running freely under the canopy of trees, discovering a squirrel's nest, or making a mud pie with little hands. These aren't just fond childhood memories, they're vital developmental experiences. And according to the BC Safe Play Space Guidelines, they should be a part of every child's daily environment. The BC Safe Play Space Framework emphasizes that outdoor play areas must be spacious, safe, and stimulating. Larger spaces allow for diverse activity zones such as quiet areas for imaginative play, open areas for group games, and accessible routes for children with mobility challenges. This aligns with the BC guidelines for inclusive design and encourages children of all abilities to play together, not separately. Having a larger area incorporates more shade zones created by trees, protecting children from harmful UV rays, helping meet the guidelines for sun safety. Additionally, with regard to safety, with more room, we can implement BC Safe Place Design's recommendations for adequate fall zones, clear sight lines, and buffer spaces between equipment, which minimizes collisions and injuries. We are advocating for a larger play space because it will nurture whole child development, align with our provincial safety standards, and create lasting connections with the natural world. A large play space isn't just about scale, it's about possibility.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson.
Next is Kelly McPhee.
Hello, my name is Kelly McPhee, and I reside in the city of Fernie. I'm an early childhood educator and the manager at Wild Wapiti Play School. I'm here today to ask your support of expanding the proposed play space to include the large tree and to be closer to the entrance of the courthouse. We were fortunate in having access to the Fernie Family Garden space that was located behind our school. It allowed us to make our vision for Wild Wapiti Play School a reality. The children enjoyed adventuring to different play spaces while learning through discovery and play. The ample space we had to play allowed siblings to interact with one another during the day, which at school they were excited to do. It taught important lessons of care and cooperation. We experienced very minimal accidents in the outdoor space. The large garden allowed children to play with all of the educators. This expanded our ability to supervise the area, and it also set them up for later success when they grew older and changed classes, as they were already familiar with all of the educators at the school. Having this center-wide group time together is an important contribution to creating a Wapiti family and a place that children feel safe and free to have fun. Our philosophy is deeply rooted in a love for the outdoors, as we inspire a love of nature and environmental stewardship of the land we keep. Therefore, a large portion of our day is spent outside. If you see us out enjoying the north side of the courthouse grounds on a warm summer day, you'll notice we often have activities set up under the big tree in the middle, as it provides a large shade for us to stay cool. The tree is especially vital to us in these increasingly hot days, as young children are particularly susceptible to heat-related illnesses. Lastly, increasing the space will improve the access for children, educators, and families at pickup time. When working with small children, what seems close to an adult takes much longer with little legs. When we factor in the winter weather, it becomes very important that the access is as clear and close as possible for our strollers to be able to get through. I hope you will consider the importance of this space to us. Some of our small children are in our care for the entire workday, and we want to provide them with the safest and best experience we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McPhee.
Our next speaker is Tessa Shearer.
Sorry.
Shearer.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tessa Shearer, and I reside in Fernie. I am the assistant manager at Wild Wapiti Play School, and I am also one of the 2 primary educators in the infant and toddler classroom, where we care for children aged 1 to 3 years old. I am here to advocate for a simple yet impactful improvement for our toddlers. I would like to request a larger shaded outdoor play area than what is currently being proposed. Since the loss of our beautiful garden space behind the Fernie Family Center, I have seen the children quickly adapt to these new circumstances and routines. We want to create a space that is familiar, similar to the garden, that makes them feel safe and secure to explore. I strongly believe by providing ample space for the older multi-age groups to join our toddlers outdoors, it will greatly help with their development. Many infants have older siblings or look to the older children for guidance. We are so excited to create special areas within this safe fenced play space for our children to explore. Some children enjoy running and climbing, while others feel safe coloring and reading on a picnic blanket under a shaded tree. Providing children with choices is essential in fostering autonomy. In the many months of the year where there is snow in Fernie, it becomes nearly impossible to use our 4-child stroller to be able to get around easily throughout the town. After their little legs climb down the 2 flights of stairs in our building, the closer access will help with less walking for the infants and toddlers over mounds of snow and help with accessibility for our educators. The use of the courthouse will be our primary off-site outdoor play space, and outdoor play is not just a luxury, it's a vital part in early childhood development. In order to provide the best quality care, we strive to meet the needs of all children. This means offering shelter and a large space to explore, thrive, and let their imaginations grow. I had this speech prepared prior to today, but today is a great example of how one additional tree made it easier to manage the well-being of the children in an extreme climate. While supervising the children from 3:30 to 4:45 this evening in 32-degree heat, we needed to reduce their physical activity and redirect them to a calm shaded area. That area was under the large tree in the middle, and that is not in the proposed plans. I ask that the city councilors and Mayor Milligan please consider granting Wild Wapiti the additional space that we have requested. Thank you for your time and attention, your worship and councilors.
Thank you, Ms. Shearer.
The last speaker on our list is Chris Inglis.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City staff, and gallery. Mayor, just might need some clarification on what I'd like to speak about. You have a heading here under bylaws. I just have something that come up at the cemetery, and some of the bylaws do reflect up at the cemetery. I was wondering if I could speak to that.
Carry on.
Okay, thank you. My father's buried up there, and so lots of my family. And I just, it's just a shame. It's really, there's no other words to use. It's disgusting to take your 81-year-old mother up there to see the grave, and just like the place is just trashed. And Mr. Logan, this falls under your protocol of what you do for the city. And I encourage the councilors and mayor and even the gallery, please go up there and have a look. It's filled with weeds, thistles. I went to 4 different water taps. I couldn't even wash my dad's headstone because the water's not turned on. Some of the valves are missing off of the taps. It's just before, when a city employee, full-time, Eddie Storser, looked after that place, it was all lush and green and growing. Mayor Milligan, you were here at that time in the early 80s or late 80s, early 90s. And now it's disheartening to go up there. It really is. And it really bothered me today, like my mom, born and raised in Fernie, 80 years. And she was just like, what have they done to this place? It just gives you a perfect example how the soccer kids and that come to you before about the field because of the care in that. You know what? It doesn't take much. As Mr. Logan might want to stress to you, you can't do this, you can't do that. I had property in Montana that 2 years couldn't go down because of COVID-19. That stuff was like desert. And everybody was telling me, it won't come back, it won't come back. But I worked it, I fed it with fertilizer, I seeded it, and that lawn now is green as can be. It just needs the attention. And I'm sorry, but you got to start focusing some of your energies and stuff towards these stuff. And I didn't come here to speak about the preschool and that, but honestly, I can't believe these parents, they have enough challenges, and so does the preschools, enough challenges with bringing everything together so people can go to work and pay their bills and have childcare. And now you got these people taking time away from their families tonight to come and ask you about a tree. Start looking at your senior staff before these people have to take time out of their day to bring it to council. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone online? No? Okay, thank you. Item 10.1, adoption of the business licensing and regulation bylaw number 2028, amendment bylaw number 2529, 2025. This is, of course, the SCR licensing fees. And I'll look for a mover and a seconder for the following staff recommendation: that the council adopt business licensing and regulation bylaw number 2028, amendment bylaw number 2529, 2025. Moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor McIsaac. Any discussion? I just want to thank staff for the work on this, and most particularly Officer Kramer for the efforts he put into this amendment to this bylaw. This is a long time coming and very much appreciated. So with that, I will call the vote. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Item 11.1, a report from our Director of Parks, Facilities and Recreation, Wild Wapiti Play School. Mr. Logan.
Good evening, Council, Gallery. Thank you for your comments. In the agenda package, you have a copy of the proposed lease by staff, worked on by CAO Bernowski and myself, along with Wild Wapiti. I've got no PowerPoint today, just a few speaking points to give a bit of an overview of the agreement. So as staff, we reviewed the delegation requests and direction from council regarding the request and have determined a path forward for the permit. Here's a quick summary. The term will go till 2028, which is 3 years, as the delegation was looking for a temporary solution for their displaced play area. $10 a year plus GST. There's a nominal fee collected in order to make the agreement legitimate. The key uses and conditions: no motorized traffic except for snow removal and maintenance. They must comply with their childcare licensing regulation and all applicable laws. The city doesn't guarantee the fitness of the site, including the environmental conditions. We're offering exclusive use of the space to meet their needs. It's going to be considered an off-site play area, which some of them spoke to. We're providing roughly 5,400 square feet or 501 meters squared. Looking at the regulation and the best childcare BC best practices, this will accommodate 36 children of all ages. And that fits within the guidelines of 14 square feet per child. There is an image on page 40 of the agenda package. It does not include the large tree. Essentially, staff arrived at this decision looking at the various other agreements we have with childcare providers, considering the tenants in the courthouse building itself and some of the disruption, as well as area for snow removal, which is done by the tenant of the courthouse. Any construction or modification requires written approval by the city. And this does include a mandatory heritage alteration permit for the play space that would be supported by a heritage professional. And shout out to Manager Similini. He's inquired ahead of time with the heritage consultant we've worked with in the past, and they see no issue in a temporary play space area at the courthouse. The permittee is responsible for all cost, safety, and compliance. On termination of the agreement, all the improvements must be removed, including the fence. A few responsibilities: the permittee maintains the site in a tidy and sanitary condition for obvious reasons. No tree removal without consent. City staff will be completing some tree maintenance to some of the existing trees there. Just because the site is located under trees, dangerous trees are considered higher risk if they're a distance to a target. So if we're actually establishing a playground under some trees, some closer attention to whether or not they're dangerous and could pose a hazard is needed. So staff will look after that. The permittee assumes full risk liability and must indemnify the city. And the permittee is responsible for access, including snow removal if required to access the site. Couple other things. It's non-transferable without city approval, so they couldn't gift that to someone else without the city's approval. And then termination clause is pretty standard. 90 days with notice, 48 hours for default, and the permittee may terminate within 30 days notice. Any changes to the document need to be amended with city's written consent. And I can take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. Questions from council. Councilor Audie Kelly.
Director Logan, a couple of things. How much more space would that tree add if we were to include that larger tree area? And what impact would it have to things like snow removal and the possibly to the other tenants in the building? Could you kind of flesh that out a bit, please?
Sure. I haven't stretched the tape out myself. The space in the agenda package is 500 square meters. Imagine including the tree. If you look at the image in the picture, the tree actually is casting shade in the space, which would be the existing playground. I think it would maybe be another 150 square meters if we were to include that tree. As far as tenant disruptions, there's not a ton. Originally, we were proposing as staff to keep the playground on the south side of the building, which is normally not in the iconic courthouse photo as a backdrop. We thought being on the south side would further sort of reduce the disruption to court, which all the windows face the north side. Wild Wapiti made a compelling case for the kids' safety, traveling to and from, that it makes more sense on the north side. So we did decide as the north side as the preferred location. And again, the size, if council determines to offer more, the staff recommendation is in line with what we currently provide at childcare providers at Max Turk, who are working under specific regulations for childcare play spaces that are regulated, which is about 7 square feet per child. So we're offering more than double that, and it is still in compliance with the guidelines for child spaces.
Further,
Mind your worship.
please.
The other trees in the area, like, does the red rectangle, is that where there'll be the fence for the kids? Like, or is that just to give us an idea of the space? Like, they're gonna fence the whole area in, right, to make sure the kids are safe?
Yeah, the way I understand is they're hoping to reduce costs by using some of the existing fence on the perimeter of the property. So in staff's opinion, by sliding it into that corner and utilizing those other 2 sides, they would be making a fence with 2 other sides. If it was closer to the parking lot area for the accessibility concerns, they would be doing 3 sides, unless they were to take the whole portion of the north grounds.
Thanks.
Councillor Shoesmith?
Thank you, Mayor Milligan, through the mayor to staff. Is there any downside or compelling reason why we wouldn't say, screw it, let them have the tree?
Thanks for the question, putting me on the spot. I think you heard all the compelling reasons for. The compelling reason from staff is just complete fairness to other organizations who also have free use of space and is very limited to that space and still in line with licensing requirements.
Thank you very much.
But just for clarity, Mr. Logan, those other child care providers, they're using them as licensed play spaces consistent with their licensing. This is not a licensed play space. This is a proposed outdoor play area, which does not require the same specific licensing. Is that correct?
Correct. I'm not a subject matter expert on this, so I did reach out to someone from Interior Health who deals with playground regulations and childcares. So there are two types of spaces. The ones that are offered at Max Turk are licensed playgrounds. So they follow a set of standards. They have inspection protocols, maintenance bars to meet. The difference between the design guidelines with a what's called a offsite field trip, I guess. A little more paperwork from their end, I think, for that, as far as like access to and from the site, what they're going to do for shade, what they're going to do for safety. I think there's a little more supervision required just because it is open and the child age groups tend to blend. In a licensed playground space, I believe the kids are required to be separated. A certain age group of younger kids should be separated through a fence or some other means from the older kids. Whereas this arrangement, which Wild Wapiti is looking for, would be interacting with all the different age groups. Hence the request for a larger space, which is also through the guidelines, best practice guidelines, could allow for 6 more children than they actually have in the daycare at the moment.
And maybe a reinterpretation, if you will, of Councillor Shoesmith's earlier question. There's no cost to us if we grant them another 150 square meters.
No cost to us. The whole agreement's set up in such a way where there's very little expenses, if any, going out from the city, and that's by design. Obviously, we're not in the habit of popping up more parks or those types of things. We're fairly stretched thin as it is, but yeah, it puts most of those costs back on the play school for maintaining it and creating the space.
Fair. And well, I confess I had some sympathy for the request for a bit more space, not least of all because of there's a couple of things. It's a temporary commitment from the city. It's a temporary use. It is and it was, as was stated by the staff and the board, just coming to this meeting tonight, it was excruciating in this heat. And I can't imagine toddlers and small children in the same heat. So, you know, whatever protection we can offer, I think would be appropriate, particularly if it doesn't cost us any more. Councillor Adia Kelly?
Thanks, Your Worship. I was just thinking also, and aesthetically, it would also be nicer to not have to put up like shade structures and use the natural outdoor already available shade.
Yeah, I tend to agree, and I suspect the shade structures wouldn't be heritage building compliant either. Mr. Logan?
Yeah, just further to that, like I did mention, it does require heritage alteration permits. So the planning staff would be reviewing whatever proposals put forward, and they are correct. Putting up shade structures would be a lot more complicated and would have to be looked at a little more closely.
Thank you. Just another question, that the extent of the danger tree assessment is like that. Is that potentially a minor additional cost because we have to go a bit further if we increase the, or is that a wash?
Oh, not necessarily. I mean, we do budget for dangerous tree removal and maintenance. You know, the courthouse grounds is used sporadically. Just as I mentioned, with some specific use on the property in a certain area, we want to go one step further and just make sure the trees are safe. Because there's more of a chance that a branch could fall off in the certain area where we're, you know, telling people they should go and be in the compound. But that tree maintenance, oddly enough, was already set up to be completed this fall. So it was already part of a work plan. There's some older oak trees there that are in excess of 100 years old, and they're showing some wear and tear. So it's just some cleanup, general maintenance that we had planned on anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. And I'm sorry, because I can't picture it in my head. The tree in question that we have been asked to include, what is that? Is that a?
I really wish I would have walked over there before the meeting.
Is it an evergreen? Is it?
My staff tells me what tree maintenance is required. So I believe there's one tree there that's actually needs to come down. I think it's a birch tree, and there's a disease floating around most birch trees. You can see them at City Hall.
Birch, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that tree is specifically, but there are trees all along the perimeter. Some of the ones we'd be limbing branches that are dangerous. Yeah, it is a large tree. It does cast a lot of shade, yeah.
I'm just going to break protocol a little bit and look to the gallery. Does anyone know what kind of tree it is? An oak. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Councillor Nixon.
There we go. Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I think the shade structure would look poor in there. If it's not going to cost us anything to expand that into a larger zone, I would be all in favor of that. Climate change is real. Summers are getting hotter all the time, as we can see. And if we can just, especially if this is a temporary solution, I'm all in favor of it in making for the larger purple size.
Thank you. Would you, Councillor McCusick, is that a hand?
I'm very reluctantly going to ask questions that are going to make me sound like a bad guy and I hate daycare, but those things are not true. I support daycare and I think it's wonderful and I'm glad Wild Wapiti is doing what they're doing. But let me start the question this way. So we had a proposed location that considered the building and the tenant and so on, but that wasn't good enough. And so we've changed it. And now we have a new location, but that location is not sufficient. And so we're being asked to change it. And now we're going to send staff in. We're going to do additional landscaping work that might have gotten done, but is now going to be done now. And stuff that would have been done somewhere else is not going to be done. What I'm hearing is a pattern of expansion of commitment of the city to what was supposed to be, here's a temporary corner of the grounds that's not being used right now. Please do that while you find a better and more permanent space. So I guess my question to you is do we have the capacity to take on the external operation of a daycare playground area as a city? Because it feels like that's what we're being asked to do.
I don't think so, Councilor McCausey.
I
think Mr. Logan said the maintenance of that area is the responsibility of the Wild Wapiti daycare,
except for trees
which
and potentially
are already in the work plan.
weren't already in the work plan, but already budgeted.
Sorry, can you
for.
clarify that, Mr. Logan? Because I understood you said they were in the work plan.
Oh, I thought he said in the budget.
Sorry, if I may. Yes, so we do dangerous tree removal and maintenance ongoing throughout the year. There's a budget established for that. The courthouse trees were on one of my staff's radar to address this year. It just so happened that Wild Wapiti had then inquired about the space. So we're sort of making that a priority, but we were going to complete that work this year anyway. With regard, sorry.
Sorry, no, please go ahead.
With regards to the maintenance, the agreement's structured completely, and that's why staff wasn't recommending a shared space. If it was a shared amenity for the public, then the city would play a role in the maintenance, the inspection, the mowing of the grass,
Right.
all those types of things, snow removal, access, washrooms potentially. And for all those reasons and many more, the agreement is structured in such a way so all those are their responsibilities. So hoping to never get service requests for snow removal to the entrance of the playground, hoping to never get service requests for fence repairs, hoping to never get et cetera, et cetera. We get enough of those for our current existing parks and other facilities. So it would be quite taxing to have an arrangement where the city was responsible for that space.
All right, and to follow up, if I may.
Please.
I'm hopeful too that we don't get all those other ones. My last question, and again, I apologize because I'm sounding like the big beanie here, but I don't mean to be. Under the current lease agreements that we have with the other daycares that have as part of their lease agreements, outdoor space, do we have the capacity if they come and say, oh, we would like now extra space too, that is consistent with what we're providing Wild Wapiti? Can we do that? Should we do that? Is that going to cause new lease updates? Are we expecting that to come forward? I mean, we, as a commitment to fairness as a community to everyone, I presume we have to have at least the capacity to be able to say yes to everyone that asks for the same thing.
To answer that question through council, this is a bit of an anomaly with a play space at a heritage property. Typically, most of our, we used to have 3 daycare operation type outfits from Max Turk, 2 playgrounds, and oddly enough, we are allowing a 3rd that will also come back to council through a lease agreement with the Fernie Child Care Society, in where they're constructing the fence, they're doing all the maintenance, all the construction, but we're providing a space. And the reason why we recommend that to council is because it is in the OCP and it is, to the community's benefit. So we've also had pickleball ask for the exact same real estate, where then they get turned down and we allow a child care group to go there. So you're not wrong in that this maybe is setting precedents for, I don't know, the Fernie Academy that pays for the space on an ongoing hourly basis to ask for some free space for their kids to play. I don't know. I can't predict that.
Well, I would caution calling out precedent when none is created. We deal with these things on a case-by-case basis. So I would hesitate to call it out in advance, quite frankly. And we have signed lease agreements with others as well, with timelines associated with them. So they will always come up for renegotiation at the point of expiry, but I would caution against creating expectations. Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you. Something that Mr. Logan said did just tweak my memory, and it might be in the lease agreement that I just have lost track of, but with regards to the fence specifically, you mentioned, a request for service to fix the fence. That's covered for them to repair under the current lease agreement, isn't it? Or would that be our city's responsibility, because we're fencing off that location for them?
The fence that they put up would be theirs to maintain if it if it got broken. I could see a scenario where potentially there was a safety hazard with the wrought iron concrete exterior perimeter, where of course we would then want to repair that because it would have to be done in a certain way by someone who knows how to work on that. But I was throwing out some examples that likely won't come across my desk, but yeah, it's built so they're fully responsible for the space, including the fence.
Councillor Audie Kelly.
Thanks, Your Worship. And just to confirm, Director Logan, it is a temporary arrangement. And when it ends, I would imagine that the space needs to be restored to its current iteration. And I would think that we would want to be keeping the outside perimeter safe for all citizens anyway, right? So that isn't, sorry, there's like a fly that likes me. At least someone likes me. That would, we would want to be looking after that anyway, right? As our normal obligation to maintaining that building.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. And unless there's a prior agreement with Wild Wapiti to say the city really likes the space and they've moved on and found another place and we're like, hey, maybe we can keep the fence or something like that. That's always available to us. Most agreements are structured that way, that the dog society, or the pet society, the FTA, all other childcare groups also are requesting or have in their agreements that they should remove all the fixtures and things they've put on the property if the agreement no longer exists.
Further, Your Worship, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
please.
And not to, I'm not making any assumptions. I'm just asking, in general, in agreements like this one, would there be some kind of a bond is maybe the word, I'm not sure, but would there be some kind of protection? Like what if the school decided, hey, we're going to close, right? Would there be some kind of protection that would ensure that all of that was removed and it was restored back to the current state?
It is noted in the contract. I'm not sure what legal levers there are to pull should they walk away and not fulfill that part of the agreement. With regard to risk, there is like naming the city as insured and all that type of stuff. That would be a question I'd want to get a more thorough answer from the lawyer, to be honest.
Councillor Shoesmith.
Thank you, Mayor Milligan. Yeah, I'm pretty in favor of this as it was written, but also, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. This whole thing's common sense top to bottom. I've been thinking about the addition of the tree thing. That seems like a pretty easy, low impact ask, but I'm looking at the map here and I'm seeing that there's, because I walk by there every day and I was recalling that there's trees all along, shade all along. Are those not suitable? Are they scraggly for part of the year or something? I'm just thinking it through because that whole fence line has trees all the way along. It's usually in the shade.
Yeah, I haven't been out there. I'm not sure what times of day the groups use the property. I was just looking at the image on their existing play space, and there's one very large, looks to be some sort of spruce or pine tree that casts a large shadow. But you're correct. There's lots of trees. Depending on the time of day, it's tough to determine which way the shade's facing.
That's the challenge, I think. Yeah, it's where the shade falls. Further?
Thanks, Mayor Milligan. That being said, for what it's worth, I see no issue with expanding by another 100 and something meters square. Provided, of course, we make sure that everybody's well aware going forward, this is temporary.
Would someone like to propose a motion then that, Councillor Hamilton?
I'll propose a motion that we expand the territory, I'm not sure what the right word is, the coverage area to include the large tree in the leased land.
Seconded. Mr. Burdick.
Thanks, Mayor Milligan. I was just going to say, Ms. McElwee has drafted a very nice amended resolution, which you can read if that's okay with you.
Please.
The The recommendation is that council directs staff to work with Wild Wapiti to modify the proposed land use permit to expand the size of the playground location to include a more shaded area. And that council directs staff to issue public notice of its intention to provide assistance to Wild Wapiti Play School Society by way of the land use permit, granting nominal rent and exclusive use of a portion of the courthouse grounds for a play and learning area for a term of 3 years. And that subject to completion of the public notice period, provided no submissions require reconsideration, the mayor and corporate officer be authorised to execute the land use permit once mutually agreed upon by the city and Wild Wapiti.
Very thorough. Thank you. Good? Good with you? Any further discussion? Councillor Nixon.
Just curious about the timeline and if they will be moving into the place before the fall comes. Is that right away or is it, are they set? When's the timeline? Just curious.
There's the public notification period, which is how long?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah. 2 consecutive weeks.
Yeah, correct. So 2 weeks public notice, and I believe they've already submitted a heritage alteration permit to the planning department that's currently under review. Yeah, I've spoken to someone in that department. So, yeah, it'll be wrapped up in short order, hopefully.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Logan. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. You're also free to go. Item 11.2. The Francophone School lease renewal report from our acting CAO, Mr. Burden.
Thank you, Mayor Milligan. No slideshow. This is a fairly standard lease renewal with updated rates and some additional language or some additional clarity on what exactly space they are renting. As it says in the report, it's taken a bit of time just to sort out exactly their enrollment numbers, which we now have. And so I just moved this forward for council's consideration now. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you mind if I ask what the enrollment numbers are? Because there is an enrollment threshold, as I understand.
Yeah, Director Logan may correct me, but I believe it's at least 45 or maximum 45. Yeah.
At least 45.
At least 45.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So they have made the threshold. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, further to that, this file was started by Mr. Bornowski, and once we received confirmation from them that they met that threshold, then we could push this lease forward. So that happened while he's been away.
Okay.
That's why it's here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Burden. Any discussion, questions from council? With that, I'll ask our chief. Our corporate officer. I almost promoted you CAO there.
Staff recommendation is that council endorse the proposed lease with the Francophone School for a portion of the Max Turk Community Centre, and that council authorise the mayor and corporate officer to execute the agreement once public notification is complete.
Moved by Councillor Audie Kelly, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Any further discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to thank you, Mr. Burden and Mr. Logan. Moving on to item 11.3. Our late item, UBCM nominations for the RCMP Contract Management Committee. And I'll turn to Councillor Hamilton to comment if he could.
Certainly, Your Worship. Yeah, I was just reading the latest issue of the Compass, and there's a call out for 2 new members to the committee, and I'm trying to scroll back up to the right spot. Basically, one of them is for communities with 5,000 people or more outside of the Lower Mainland, and I thought I would put my name forward as I started to go through the application process. However, they do require proof of consent. That's not the right word. proof of support from your community board. So that's why I asked to have this on the agenda. The application deadline is September 1st, or sorry, September 5th. So we weren't going to be able to have this on the next agenda, hence the late addition here. So I would be asking for your support in me putting my name forward to apply for this committee.
Thank you. Councillor Audie Kelly?
Does it need a motion, your
It
worship?
does. And
Well-
I have one here, actually.
Okay, I'll move it.
That council endorse.
You haven't heard it yet.
I'm good with it. I think Councillor Hamilton would be awesome.
The council endorsed Councillor Hamilton's application to serve on the local government RCMP Contract Management Committee. Moved by Councillor Audie Kelly, seconded by Councillor Shoesmith. Any further discussion? Thanks for putting your name forward. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Councillor McIsaac.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a quick comment for that, for people that are watching. Participation in that is covered by UBCM, so that doesn't constitute any expenses on behalf of the city.
That's important consideration. So thank you for adding that. Item 14.1 correspondence. Item 14.1, the letter from the Canada Community Building Fund. A little good news there. An electronic transfer of $175,593 expected to occur in August. Have we seen it, Mr. Burdett?
Thanks, Mayor Milligan. I believe you have, yes. That's a budgeted revenue for the city,
Yeah.
but we just thought it was nice to share some positive news.
Thank you. I very much appreciate it. Very true. That brings us to item 15, reports. It's been a while. Reports from council members, and not to put anybody on the spot, I will pick on Councillor Shoesmith.
I guess I'm not anybody.
Oh, I apologize. I did. There was no intention to suggest that. Well played. Well played.
Walked right into it. Tons, lots. But I'm going to focus on good stuff. Derby's coming up. And now that I'm no longer a board member of that, I can shamelessly plug how great the Lions Club and the Demolition Derby is. So hope to see everybody listening out there to help raise money for a bunch of good causes. And other than that, just a note to the viewing public, if you ever have concerns about local affairs or anything like that, like feel free to just approach me. I'm really not very scary, I don't think anyways. That's all I have. Thanks, Mayor Milligan.
Thank you, Councillor Shoesmith, and I do apologize. That wasn't nothing intentional there. Councillor Nixon.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, so many things that to talk about as our summer is, I hate to say it, winding down, but I'll focus on the most recent and then just move backwards. First, I want to say thank you to everyone for all the private messages and support and the discussion in the streets about the very, very difficult fire hall decision. It did mean a lot. It was a very hard decision on the part of, for me, for sure. Also, I'd like to say it's been a fantastic summer in Fernie. A big thanks to all the boards and organizers and volunteers who made it so special. The Canada Day was incredible. Our Wednesday night socials stopped too soon last week, but look forward to more next year. The show and shine was really neat to see. Of course, our music festival, Wapiti, and all the incredible trail work done by the Fernie Trails Alliance and all the volunteers that are part of that. It's just, the trails are just mint. And of course, a special thanks to all the staff, the city staff, and everything that's, it just seems like everything's just running really smoothly for our community. So I want to thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Nixon. Councillor Audie Kelly.
Thanks, Your Worship. It has been, shall we say, in some ways, a very hot summer. And it's been difficult and emotional. I liken it somewhat to grief. There's 7 stages of grief, and we're all in the midst of one of those, and they don't necessarily go in order.
I have really enjoyed the community events. I would like to say thank you to all the sponsors and to the Art Station for the excellent Wednesday socials. I only missed one of them. I attended our business banter and beer about the business licensing fees, and I really want to encourage folks that survey is up on Let's Talk. So business people, please send us your thoughts. We really want to hear from you. I was a volunteer at and attended Wapiti, and I have to say that it's always very well run. We got the line down even better, which, yay, passes, that's us. And the last two acts, Shred Kelly and Serena Ryder, like, awesome. So thank you very much to the organizers. I also am really looking forward to the Derby. I will be giving out beverages. Well, providing you're giving me a ticket for it, I'll be giving out beverages, and I'm really looking forward to that as well. So, you know, I hope everyone does enjoy the rest of these hot days that we've got. And the show and shine folks, that was also awesome. Councillor Nixon reminded me that was great. So yeah, I think, honestly, I think our events in town just get better and better and better. And that's because of the hard work of all the volunteers. So I'm proud to be from a town that has that community spirit. Thanks, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McIsaac.
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, it has been a busy summer. I'm not going to cover too much of the same ground that previous councillors have done, other than to say too that I've had the pleasure of being involved as a volunteer in at least one event this summer, and I'm always astounded at the level of volunteering that we have in this community and how many great events and stuff we have. A bunch have been mentioned. I won't go through it again. Sticking more to local government side, I had the opportunity to attend RDK last month, which is great, and also meeting out in Richmond for UBCM, talking about a bunch of things like the Canada Building Fund and so on that are here, and stuff that's come out in the Compass already. Other than that, yeah, feeling a little emotionally overwrought, I think, at this point through the summer. Yeah, looking forward to some cooler days in the fall, actually.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Hamilton.
I had written out a whole list of all the events and everything to congratulate the organizers and whatnot, but I'm going to change it up a little. You know, I've had a number of conversations over the last little while, people asking how your summer's been and what have you done? And my answer has become, well, I've stayed here. We live in a place where people come for their holidays. So why would I want to leave to go somewhere else? It's a fantastic community all around. So many wonderful things to do all the time. Yeah, thank you to everybody out there in the community who helps organize events, who volunteers at events, who makes this community a place that people want to spend their summer holidays in. Shifting gears to more council-related stuff, had a number of really good conversations at Council Cafe the last couple, as well as grocery store, park, you name it, out and about on the trails. One issue that I do want to flag, it's come up before in our conversations many times. We have advocated for it on behalf of our community many times at UBCM, but the intersection at Mount Fernie, Provincial Park Road and Riverside and the highway, I know there's a change.org petition out there, and just want to remind the community that your council and your city are doing everything they can to advocate for this. It's probably time that you start focusing your efforts to the province, write our MLA, write the Ministry of Transportation and Transit, let them hear your voices directly. Hopefully we can continue to advocate on their behalf and get some changes there, because as we heard in our last meeting, traffic is becoming an issue along the highway corridor, and without some sort of change in how we manage that, it could end up in a not good situation. And yeah, lastly, looking forward to the final long weekend. But in the vein of traffic safety, please remember, everybody, back to school is going to be starting too here in the next
Mhm.
couple weeks, and make sure you're paying attention through those school zones and watching for kids crossing the highway and all of those fun things that we need to just slow down and recognize that there's little kids running about again. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. That's a good reminder. The school is starting again. It's a very important one. Yeah, like everybody, I won't retread the same ground, although I probably will retread some of it, and borrow from Councillor Audia Kelly when she said it's been a hot summer in many ways, and it has been, and I want to, thank everybody who's brought their passion to the conversations through the summer, and I've had lots of respectful, passionate conversations on both sides of the discussion. So I'm incredibly grateful for that people are that engaged. And again, the business beer and banter on business licensing fees was a great opportunity, not just again to partner with the chamber, but also to showcase the Fernie Legion, which is a bit of a iconic institution in this community. So you don't have to be a member, support it if you can. A lot of the events have been touched on, but would echo what's already been said, that largely through volunteerism, our events in this community get better and better. I wanted to share, although in the end, I'm not sure we got a meeting at UBCM with the Ministry of Infrastructure, but I did get a personal phone call from the minister saying she wasn't going to be in attendance and to work on any issues with her deputy minister. And I was pretty impressed by that, quite frankly, that she's probably phoned almost every mayor in the province, which I thought was pretty impressive. Minister Bowen Ma, so I want to tip my hat to her. And just finally, there was an excellent effort on the proponents, Newcommon, the not-for-profit development consultant, the housing operator, Elk Valley Family Society, and the childcare operator, Elk Valley Childcare Society, as well as North Mountain Construction Management. They hosted a barbecue at the site of the old fire hall, and to introduce people to the projects and to get names and let them know how they could apply to participate. And it was one, really well attended, and two, an excellently run event. And I was really impressed by their efforts. So just wanted to thank them for that. With that, I will turn to our corporate officer and ask her to read item 6.1 in camera meeting, 16.1, sorry.
6.1. That the meeting be closed to the public pursuant to section 91A, personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for a position as an officer, employee or agent of the municipality or another position appointed by the municipality, and that the meeting be closed to the public pursuant to section 91K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal surface that are at their preliminary stages, and that in the view of council could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public.
A mover? Moved by Councillor Audia Kelly, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Thank you for the public who've attended.